you hear all these Marcos apologists, all these DDS, they say like, oh, ikaw na maging presidente, or like they say, move on, the past is the past, the sins of the father are not the sins of the son, and like I keep thinking about, that's not what democracy is about. That's not what functioning society should be. That's not what democracy is. I mean, like, sure, I'm gonna vote for Lenny, but if she does anything to harm the benefit of the Filipino people, I'll definitely criticize her, because that's what democracy should be. That's what national elections are for. You're not voting for who's the most popular, who's the most good looking. You're voting for the one who you feel should be the best long-term investment.
Welcome back to At The Backdoor. If you're new here, I'm Ivan Evangelista, your host, and we're joined here by, again, Jamie Garcia. He's actually my schoolmate. He studied theater with me. Okay, so today we're going to discuss about political candidates. So yeah, this is a hot topic right now. What kind of leadership do we have right now, and what do you want to change?
I think the type of leadership we have is mostly selfish. I mean, that's not an understatement. I mean, it's so much self-interest. I mean, you have so many candidates shifting from one party to the next. No consistent values, no consistent platforms, no consistent anything. I mean, you have, like, even our president, at one time he was with the Liberal Party, and then all of a sudden things changed, and like he joined PDP Laban, and then like at one point he was demanding that Gloria be held accountable for her misgivings during when she was elected president, and then all of a sudden you see him and like all these like all the beneficiaries of cronyism in a party. And I think that's one of the reasons why people become disillusioned with politics, not just here but abroad as well, but mostly because a lot of people say like we're electing the same people over and over again, that's the reason why nothing ever changes. It's because like no one ever really has a consistent plan and a consistent system of values.
So having said that, what are you looking for in a candidate?
Personally, I think it's their track record. I want someone who not only has good qualifications, like whether or not they have prepared for this position, but also because I want to see their prior work. I want to see if they've served in either the Senate or Congress or even the local government units, like, and what they did to benefit said position.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to share lang din my candidate. I personally will vote for Lenny kasi I like her track record. I like she's been very, very productive, lalo na ngayong pandemic, and siya lang talaga yung malalapitan sa government that could really help. So yeah, that's who I'm voting for. If you have any negative reactions towards that, comment down below.
It's great that you say Lenny, because I'm actually also voting for Lenny.
Okay, we're on the same page. All right.
Like I'm personally voting for her not because she's the only candidate that I feel that I'm comfortable with. I think it's because like I had low expectations for her when I voted for her back in 2016. Like I thought like before, kasi like sure she's trying to be a lawyer and she has a degree in economics, but then like I said to myself, she's the best candidate for like vice president. And then now in the presidency, like to me, like out of the few times I voted, she's the only politician that I felt has overachieved in that sense kasi she has the lowest budget out of she had the lowest budget out of anyone in Duterte's cabinet, and then you see what she's done, whether it's helping doctors and nurses get rides to the hospitals where they work, or providing them shelter, providing them with vaccination plans and stuff.
Yeah, even yung the shuttle services for the frontliners.
Exactly.
Yeah. Makasabayan tayo ng bayaran tayo. Pero that is who we are really voting for. And I'm also curious sa mga tao na nagsasabi that Lenny is the lesser evil. Do you believe in that?
Personally, in politics, I've come to this I've come to this observation that it's not really about the lesser evil, but rather who you feel supports the Filipino people in general. One of the common criticisms that I hear regarding Lenny is that she's elitist, that she's merely a puppet for the Liberal Party. But then I think back about her campaign in 2016. Not once did she mention that she's running for the sake of her late husband. Not once did she mention that she's running on Jesse Robredo's plan. She's saying that I'm Lenny Robredo and I'm running on my plan. I'm running on what I feel should help the people of this country. Even now, she's talking about how she wants to help the agricultural sector. She wants to talk about how she wants to help doctors and nurses not just get better hazard pay, but also make sure that they're properly compensated to begin with.
I guess yung campaign niya right now is mostly about COVID, and we want to hear beyond the COVID situation kung ano yung platforms niya, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what we're waiting for. And if ever that she won and she's not the kind of person that we thought she is, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, that's the basics of democracy. I mean, I still remember when my Lola voted for Gloria, and she basically talked about how she felt she was the best candidate. But then, and then the Hello Garcia scandal came out, and my Lola was, she was very distraught from it because she legitimately cheated during an election, and it sort of disillusioned me. But then I also think about how that's what democracy should be, because you hear all these Marcos apologists, all these DDS, they say oh, ikaw na maging presidente, or they say move on, the past is the past, the sins of the father are not the sins of the son. And I keep thinking about, that's not what democracy is about. That's not what functioning society should be. That's not what democracy is. I mean, sure, I'm gonna vote for Lenny, but if she does anything to harm the benefit of the Filipino people, I'll definitely criticize her, because that's what democracy should be. That's what national elections are for. You're not voting for who's the most popular, who's the most good looking. You're voting for the one who you feel should be the best long-term investment.
Yeah, they're not pop stars. We should not idolize them. And if they did something wrong, they need to be held accountable.
Exactly.
I think yung mga DDS then, they're afraid to vote again because nabudol sila nung Duterte campaign and now they're regretting it. And they fear that if they vote for this candidate, baka it's the same thing. So what are you going to say sa mga apolitical na tao ngayon?
Well, I understand why some people don't want to vote. I understand why some people feel that it's better to be apolitical rather than taking a political stance. But I also have a tendency to get sort of ticked off at that, because being apolitical is taking a political stance to begin with. Mm-hmm. It's like you're saying, oh, this is the system we have right now. What are you going to do to change it? And then they basically say, oh, I have the right to complain. I have the right to say what isn't working, but I'm not going to do anything about it because there's nothing I can do about it. But isn't that what democracy is about? Isn't that what democracy should be? It's that to ensure that people have the same rights as everyone to vote, to make the changes they want to see in the world, to make the changes that they want present in the here and now, and what they want for future generations.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think one of the reasons is because we've become so hopeless. Now people don't believe kung ano na talaga yung tama. We don't know what's really right or what's really wrong because of the fake news and everything. And it's hard to educate people about voting or our laws dahil there's so many noise around us, diba?
Yeah.
Because the fight here now is in social media. And sa mga taong that doesn't have social media, who can't reach all of these information, it's so much harder to penetrate and to educate them. So how do you think can we educate people about how to vote wisely, who to vote for?
I recently came about this thing on Facebook, ironically, about how back when we were kids, our social studies teachers would ask us to read what's on the news right now.
Oh yeah.
And I also thought back to it, kasi like I remember in grade school, like they one of the first things I read about was I think it was like the war in Afghanistan, and I basically read about how it affects us, or like how it affects like the world itself. And I also thought about how like in today's social media age, like a lot of people think that Facebook, Instagram, TikTok are valid news sources, but you know, I think it's okay to voice your opinion on social media. You have every right to, but when you think your opinion should be equated to facts, then that's where I draw the line.
Yeah. Yeah, yun din yung like worry ko for this channel, since this channel is very political. We talk about everything taboo. I don't want to add to the noise. So how am I going to do that responsibly? So I'm doing that by inviting guests who has different perceptions. Plus, I didn't ask Jamie's candidate beforehand. Like, it just happened na we have the same candidate in mind. So, yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's it. And I guess opening up a space to openly talk about it and not just like forcing people to believe in what you believe in, I think that will also help. How do you open up these conversations within your friends and family? Especially pag magkaiba kayo ng political stance.
Friends, I mean, like, I actually have different friends from different walks of life. I have some friends who are liberal, some are in the middle. I have some who are conservative, and I try not to like raise my voice with them because like I feel that yelling doesn't add to your argument. It just detracts. But I feel that at the end of the day, what we want is what's best for the country, what we feel needs to change in our country. Because at the end of the day, we're the ones who are being affected the most. Because at the end of the day, like a lot of these politicians can say like, oh, I got a bad rating, but it's not going to do me any harm in the long run. I'm still going to be in power. I'm still going to be part of the system which helps run the country. So how does this affect me? But I think it's when we have proper conversations with people from all walks of life that we can really start to talk about what's wrong with society and what we feel we can do to take action in tackling those subjects.
Yeah, I agree with you. So we just have to keep an open mind, have these open conversations, not fueled by ego, and just really talk about it, right?
I mean, like in regards to my family, like my mom side's voting for Lenny, and I don't know where my dad stands on it kasi
my dad BBM.
my dad's from Davao, so
okay.
you know, like I actually visited Davao the year Duterte was elected.
Oh,
you,
shit.
see, you see all these banners everywhere. You see all these things. Like I actually felt what it was like when like he just won. So I try not to like step on that. I try not to like if I feel it's a lost cause, then like you're better off with a peace of mind that you did what you could to contribute to a healthy conversation. Because if you can't change someone's mind, it's not their intelligence that is holding them back, but rather their pride, their preconceptions, their ego that's really holding them back from what is right in front of their faces.
Yeah, I totally agree. Kasi my dad, he's a smart guy, pero yeah, it's his pride. And yung mga DDS before, they are still DDS kasi dahil din sa pride nila minsan, right?
Yeah, I recently talked about this with a friend of mine that the only reason why there's still people
Like holding on.
like yeah, they're still holding on to that notion that Duterte best president in the universe. It's because they're afraid to say that they made a mistake. They're afraid to say that they made the wrong choice.
Yeah. So I guess just don't idolize political candidates, political servants. They're servants for a reason. They're here to serve us. And if they did something wrong, then we can, what do you call this? Hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and
It's when we put them on the pedestal that really holds us back from having any sort of progress.
yeah. And we have the right to hold them accountable because they are serving us. So we have the right to complain. So the people that are apolitical, some of them because they can't see beyond their immediate environment. So they think that this is just the bubble, this is how the whole world works. But there's like millions of perspectives that you have to take into account if you're voting for a candidate. And I hope you're voting. I hope you guys are all registered. So yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah, that's why like I actually it was funny because I like before the deadlines of registration ended, I was scared because I messaged the the election email account.
Comelec?
Yeah, the Comelec email account. It said like there's no record of me, and I said that's impossible. I voted in both 2016 and 2019. Mm. So like I immediately went to a voting precinct, and then it turns out I'm like it's not that I wasn't up to date, but rather like they just couldn't find my name in the system. And then like when I clarified that, they said, oh, here it says your name. And then like I said, oh yeah, good, because like my mom's name was there, my brother's name was there, and then like
so
my sister who just became
registered.
Who just registered this year. That's good for her. I think it's also important to know the process of how the Filipino mindset is in regards to voting. Because I recently remembered about like when Bong Revilla was running in 2019, and like he had this super annoying ad that I really hated every time it came on. And like a few days later, there were these women who were at one of his campaign rallies, and like they said like when they were interviewed about why they're voting for him, despite the fact that he was implicated in the pork barrel scam, and I really wanted to punch something. Like, I wanted to punch a wall because they said dahil ang guwapo siya. I'm like,
yeah, pero it's hard to blame them because they're not educated to vote properly.
Yeah, and it really pisses me off. Not just me, but like several of my friends.
Yeah. Ito pala yung question ko. How do you feel sa coming election? Are you hopeful?
In a sense, yes, but also like I'm scared. Like I'm scared of what the long-term repercussions of this election will be, because we have a chance as Filipinos to take our future into our hands. But like any election, we're casting our ticket to what we feel is gonna dictate the next 6 years. But at the same time, what if it's not what we wanted it to be? What if the opposite happens?
Mm-hmm.
What if the election outcome is not what we wanted it to be? That genuinely scares me.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat as you. Like, I'm hopeful, but at the same time, I'm scared. Because I don't know how the masses is really thinking. Yeah, I guess that's it. So thank you again so much, Jamie, for tackling this conversation with me.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Well, prepare for the hate comments down below. If you have a hate comment, please comment it down below. At sa mga Lenny supporters dyan, hello. And thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, if you hate it, you can like, dislike. Ay, wala na palang dislike sa YouTube.
Yeah.
So just click the subscribe button down below to see more of our videos. And we'll see you again in the next one. Bye!